not supportive. I think these are some of the biggest assholes.
God.
I mean,
I
they
had
are.
to yell.
And a lot of them are not funny.
Yeah.
I'm throwing shade.
So shade. Well, and I'm really excited though because my Portland and my Seattle tour is coming out, and I'm gonna go up there. I have so many booked shows. It's kind of unbelievable. Thank you so much, Jenna Vesper and Belinda Carroll. My first show is this smut comedy showcase on Friday, May 10th. Then on the 11th, Hunter Donaldson, what a little gem. I have a brunch show with him. And then at night, on the 11th, I'm going to be at a place called Tally Ho. And then on Sunday,
Tally ho.
I have another brunch show. And then I have a show on Sunday night. Monday, I get to move. I'm changing from one house to another from Jenna Vesper's couch. I'm going to move to Jaron George's couch. And we're going to open mic on Monday. We're going to get it done. And then on Tuesday.
And this is in April, right?
This is in May.
Oh, May.
And then on the Tuesday, the 12th, or Tuesday, the 13th, the whole reason I'm going down there is I want to get this video made by this guy, Randall. He does the best videos. He does those ones at Helium. I'm going to try to get a set at Helium. I'm going to stack all the right wheels. I'm going to grease the right wheels. They're all going to know I'm coming. I'm going to get it done. And then I'm double booked on Wednesday in Portland. I have nothing on Thursday, nothing on Friday. I have a show on Saturday. Then, and I would be staying with my buddy, Michelle, the Wonders, her and Laurel. They're just lovely people. And then on Sunday, I take a train to Seattle. And I have a show on Sunday night at the Comedy Crater in Seattle. And then on Monday, I'm going to be at the Seattle Underground. And then on Tuesday, I'm booked on 2 shows. I'm booked at the Comedy Nest. And then I'm also booked at Jai Tai. So I have this huge comedy tour planned. I get paid at some shows. I get food at some shows. I'm staying with people. When I go up to Seattle, I'm staying with Bernice Ye from the festival. She was amazing. And I get to cat sit for her too. So yay! She's not even gonna be there. I'm gonna stay there. She's gonna let me stay there and take care of her cat when she's gone because she has a real time. She has a real job and stuff. But everyone's so generous. And then I fly back on Wednesday in the afternoon from Seattle because it's super cheap.
Nice.
So it was like the whole thing. Both my plane tickets up from SFO to Portland, it was under $100. It was like $69.
Oh, wow.
And on the way back, it was like $69.
That's
from
reasonable.
Seattle. So even just my plane flights are under $200, way under. I'm staying with people for free. My food stamps work up there, so I'm going to save up a bunch of food stamps.
You're going to make money.
I'm going to make money. And a lot of places I get paid in beer. And my buddy who I'm staying with up there, she brews beer now, so. Yeah.
So in other words, you're probably going to get more respect there.
Well, that's the whole thing I already have. It's just so funny. I have to start re-gauging. I think that the world is always the same. It's just our perspective that changes. And I can't change other people's perspectives. I can only change my own.
Yeah.
So rather than back the old Pam would have been like, I'm so butthurt. I'm going to comment on that and be like, what about me? I'm really supportive. But I'm not going to do that because that makes me look like a whiny baby. And then the other thing I could do is be like, well, I could try harder to be more supportive, but fuck that. I am so fucking supportive. If people don't see that I'm supportive, then that is their problem, not mine. I've been running these shows. I've been committed and dedicated to being consistent for years. And if the new people don't see that as supportive, it doesn't matter because they're not going to be here in 5 years because they're going to give up on this bullshit. But I will still be here.
No, that's facts.
The difference.
That's facts.
I've been here I've been doing this. I'm coming up on my 8th year of comedy and I'm still doing it. And I'm still here at Mutiny Radio. I'm keeping this place going. And if people don't see that as supportive, they can go fuck themselves because other people are listening. In fact, fuck it if San Francisco isn't listening. But there are people listening. There's hundreds of thousands of downloads every month. There's even this show, we're in the top 10. I'm like, who is listening? Thank you for listening to this.
This is worldwide.
As I complain and go through but so I'm really going to try. I'm really going to, moving forward, I'm just going to try to change my perspective and not feel so
Well, I mean, the scene here.
I'm going to try not to feel disrespected. I'm going to respect myself.
I mean, I think you hit the nail on the coffin right there. These people are not going to be doing this 5 years from now.
No, they're not.
They don't take it serious. They don't think. I feel like
if they move on, they're not going to help me. They're not going to take me with them.
Yeah.
No one's looking. Well, that's why I'm not so worried about pissing people off finally, is that's like,
Well,
oh, am I not nice enough to you? Oh, am I not working hard enough for you? Am I not?
but they're gonna
Really?
also get a reality check if they want to do this in the big real world. If you want to go down to
Yeah.
LA and do this,
Yeah.
them people are vicious. You know, if you want to
Sure.
go to New York and do this, they'll cut you. You're not, like literally, I'm not literally, but figuratively.
Sure.
Like you have to have some balls and you have to have the cojones. No
You
one's
have to
gonna
have the
give you.
money.
You have to have the
You have
money.
to have the money and the connections. And
You,
if you don't, it
you
doesn't matter. You can be a talentless schlub, and if you have the money and the connections, you're fine. You can have all the talent in the world, and if you don't have any money or connections, you're fucked. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
you have
It's
to have personality too.
yeah, a little bit.
You
But then,
do.
because you have to meet the right people
Yeah,
and find the right
that's how you
connections.
network.
You got to lick the right assholes.
Right.
Let's get down to some weird shit. This is we're back to Florida man.
Oh, Florida.
Florida man attempts to smoke crack in ICU, almost burns down hospital.
Oh,
These are
God.
real. These are Florida man.
We were
headlines.
talking about Florida again, how ratchet and the
A
dick of the
54-year-old
United
man
States.
was arrested on Christmas Eve after allegedly taking crack cocaine into the intensive care unit at North Okaloosa Medical Center to share it with a patient there. The
What?
fire broke out when the patient, who was on oxygen, tried to smoke cocaine from a homemade smoking device. The potential was there for a lot of damage. Could have been a lot worse.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes. Aren't they fun?
Fucking
Florida man
This
slashes buttocks at IHOP after impersonating a police officer
To
to
get
get free food. Matt Skidda, 55, entered the IHOP around 1 a.m. Friday and told a server who asked if he had money, "No, I'm a cop, and I get food for free," according to a police report obtained by Orlando Sentinel. Then he threatened to beat up the IHOP server and shouted, "Hey, buddy," before dropping his pants and exposing his buttocks to the IHOP employee, according to the Sentinel. Florida man bites off neighbor's ear because he wouldn't give him a cigarette.
What?
CBS 12, I was helping a friend out and someone decided they wanted to take a chunk out of my ear, said John Ott, the man who says he was bitten. This all started because I wouldn't give him a cigarette. He comes up and puts me in a bear hug, and the next thing I know, he's biting my ear. Florida man claims wife was kidnapped by holograms. The man, whose name has not been released, was extremely agitated and holding a baseball bat when officials arrived. He told him that men abducted his wife and that they used holograms to project signals on the walls to get him to do what they wanted and communicate with each other. The responding deputy located the woman in question, who was at a nearby mobile home with the man's aunt. The aunt told investigators that the woman was drunk and that no one had chased her. Drunk Florida man attempts to ride bike through Taco Bell drive-thru, fights with police.
And loses badly.
Loses battle. Florida man inches closer to one-way trip to Mars. 43-year-old self-employed Tampa man has made it past the first hurdle in the selection process to potentially choose the first team to attempt not only a manned mission, but to the planet Mars in its colonization. My heart is there, you know. I want to be part of this mission, he said. His girlfriend supports his goal of relocating permanently to Mars. If he should go, of course I would be sad, but it's not my style to stand in front of anybody's dream. Florida man holds up Domino's delivery man over pizza and wings. Wow. Wow. Florida man escapes adult novelty store with $300 Jenna Jameson doll in tow.
That's just, oh my God. Florida man steals 850 pairs of underwear from Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, Florida man really, really wants to force a jury to watch his sex tape.
Elderly Florida man caught masturbating at McDonald's parking lot claims his privacy was invaded.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
This
so
is still all Florida.
he said, I'm living out of my car and they're invading my privacy.
You're in the parking lot
I
of
love it.
McDonald's. Oh, God.
Let's see if we can find a really good one.
Oh, wait.
Wow. Florida man sets apartment complex on fire after manager told him to stop masturbating in front of windows.
There is some really
Florida man
backwards-
calls 911 to check on his tax return.
Oh, my God.
Florida man tattoos Black Widow spider on his face to combat arachnophobia. These can't be real.
No, some of this is real.
Florida man sent to jail after pouring hot sauce on a 3-month-old puppy.
Oh my God.
Florida men attack ice cream man who wouldn't take $20 bill for pickled sausage.
Ew. That must be in northern Florida, like Gainesville.
I don't know. Florida man pokes girl in the eye after she served him waffles instead of pancakes.
Oh, I heard about this one.
Florida man attempts to leave store with chainsaw stuffed down his pants.
Yeah,
let's
I've heard about this one.
look at this 15-second clip. You guys can watch along with us. He has a chainsaw. He puts it down his pants.
You know he's a hillbilly. Those
How
are
you
the
gonna
craziest
steal?
billies.
And he's wearing shorts.
He's wearing.
That's very funny. He's wearing
He's gonna
shorts.
chop his dick off.
Florida man offers police officer $3 and chicken dinner for sex. A female investigator went undercover and posed as a street-level prostitute. During the operation, police said one of the suspects, Steven Torres, offered to trade $3 and a chicken dinner for a sexual act.
Gross.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Ooh.
Florida man resists arrest while dressed in Boy Scout costume. Florida man probably regrets wearing this t-shirt. It says, go directly to jail. Yeah.
Wait, there's one. Florida man once arrested for fighting drag queen with a tiki torch while dressed like a KKK member, now running for mayor.
Wow.
That sounds very Florida.
Wow.
Ratchet. Broward County. So Broward, that would be like Miami area. Yeah.
Florida man tries to avoid court appearance by claiming he has Ebola. Love it. Florida man steals 36,000 pounds of Crisco.
You know what he's gonna do with that.
I have no idea.
But...
Florida man caught with active meth lab in his pants. How is that possible?
Oh, gross.
Authorities received an anonymous call stating a subject was present that possessed methamphetamine. During their investigation, officers discovered an active one-pot meth lab in the pants of 23-year-old
He's 23?
Ian Frudenrick of Defuniak Springs.
He's 23? Ooh, see, you gotta leave that meth alone. Ooh, God. Ooh.
Tar-smeared Florida man arrested on convenience store roof at 3 a.m. Florida man accidentally butt dials 911 while cooking meth with his mom.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
That's
do
cute.
it together.
Yeah, I love you, Mom. Let's smoke meth.
Florida man arrested for punching 80-year-old man at Applebee's.
That's fucked up.
Everyone who eats at Applebee's should get punched in the face. That's just a thing. I want my baby back ribs.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Oh,
Keep talking about Florida man.
Florida man accused of catching and eating protected tortoises.
Ew.
Oh, what an awful person. Florida man rescued from vending machine. Authorities would not comment on the circumstances of how a man became stuck in the vending machine or how they rescued him. Action News, blah, 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 blah.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. People be crazy. Naked Florida man captured after threatening passerbys with sword. Oh, that's good. Florida man calls 911 to complain about officers' slow ticket writing skills. Deputy admitted there was a delay created by the apparatus that creates the ticket. However, to call 911 to complain warranted a misuse of 911. Exants admitted calling 911 after a verification by the deputy. He arrested, blah, blah, blah. Florida man is an idiot. Let's see who this is. Hopefully it's old dumb face. No, it's Sweet Gail, which I'm not answering the phone, Sweet Gail. I'm too old and tired to answer the phone for Sweet Gail. More Florida man. Florida man mistakes senior government officials for foreigners. I'm familiar with your country. I love your country, the Florida Republican said, apparently confused by their Indian surnames and skin color. Clausen also asked if their government could loosen restrictions on U.S. capital investments in India. Florida man sentenced to prison for attempting to start a race war near Disney World. Wow. Florida man surprised to learn mannequin is actually dead body. 2 men hired to clean out a vacant Tampa Bay area house thought they found a mannequin hanging in the garage. They cut it down and hauled it to a local dump where landfill workers realized it was actually a human body. Florida man leaves Florida. It was LeBron James leaving Miami. to go to Ohio. This is old. Florida man proposes to girlfriend, ties ring to alligator. My dream has been an alligator wrestler, so if an alligator was nothing. Florida man removes facial tattoos with welding grinder. Wow. The worst part was when Brian poured rubbing alcohol and hydrogen peroxide on the wound and scrubbed the dead skin with a steel wool pad. 18 Budweisers and a bottle of Sailor Jerry rum is what he did it with. Wow. Well, Florida, you're fucked. Hey, it's our nation, isn't it? Cardi B and Florida man. That's what we've been reduced to. That's what it is now.
Did you say we've been reduced to?
Yeah, it's Cardi B and Florida man. That's America. This is America. This is America. Yeah, I'm disappointed, America. Let's see, what else is the HuffPost? What else is happening?
I think they're probably talking about like the Green New Deal and stuff like that.
Oh, I love a Green New Deal. I'm down.
Here's something
Yeah,
interesting.
this is something about Twitter users can't believe this GOP senator's speech props aren't photoshopped. He brought out Aquaman.
Really?
The Green New Deal is Aquaman on a sea creature, on a big what are they called? Seahorse.
Seahorse?
Twitter users poked fun at Senator Mike Lee, Republican Utah, for turning himself into a meme as he railed against the Green New Deal on the Senate floor Tuesday. Lee used a series of strange pictures, including one which showed former President Ronald Reagan astride a velociraptor, to attack the congressional resolution that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Ed Markey introduced. They made a mistake here. Introduced last month. Ocasio-Cortez fired back to say, "If this guy can be senator, you can do anything." Like many other women and working people, I occasionally suffer from imposter syndrome. Those small moments, especially on hard days, when you wonder if all the haters are right. But then they do things like this to clear it up. If this guy can be senator, you can do anything. There's another picture of him. There's all these little babies.
Oh my God.
He says the solution to climate change is not unserious resolution. The solution to many of our problems in all times, in places, is to fall in love, get married, and have some kids.
It's so not realistic. What is wrong with
Senator
people?
Mike Lee. He's got babies.
This
Here are the pictures. These are so great. He's got him on a tauntaun.
And he's a senator.
This is real. This is so funny.
This is the senator.
So there's Luke Skywalker on a tauntaun. There's
someone on a raptor.
It's Ronald Reagan on a velociraptor. A picture of Aquaman and a bunch of babies. These are not photoshopped. There's another one of.
Oh my God.
Senator Lee wanted to be a meme this bad. I say let's give the man what he wants. It's so great. That's what you're talking about, climate change, and you put a tauntaun in the ice planet. It's so great.
What is wrong with these people?
It's so great.
I was reading
to poke fun at a liberal plan to tackle climate change. Senator Mike Lee on Tuesday took a Senate floor with a poster of all these things.
They're so dumb. And people that fall for this are so dumb.
This is great. That's just a meme. It's beautiful. It's great. It's like, fill in whatever you want here. I am a tool. Because they really don't think climate change is real. That's the whole point of this.
But they're putting up unrealistic memes.
Yeah.
Well, actually posters, technically, because he's on the Senate floor.
Against the Green New Deal. Yeah. This Green New Deal. Why does it have to be so silly? Why can't the Green New Deal be a real thing?
Because they don't want it, because they have their hands in the cookie jar with the a lot of these fuel companies and fracking companies and what have you.
It's true. Years and years and years ago, I was talking to my parents about green technology, like in the late 90s and stuff. And I said, I don't, I really don't understand why we don't have electric cars. And they were just sort of coming out then. And, it's a little before the Prius and before what the BMWs are doing now. Well, everyone seems to have an electric car now. But back in the late 90s, talking to my parents about it and stuff, my dad would always say, we're a country built on oil. We're a country built on slavery and oil. Because of our cars, so first it was we were manufacturing the cars. Now we're just using the cars and using the oil.
Yeah.
But the oil conglomerates, our entire economy is so enmeshed with the price of gas.
Yeah, like Exxon and stuff like that.
Because America, we sold ourselves this idea in the 40s, 50s, 60s with the car. Everyone deserves a car. Being American means you have a car. And now we're selling the dream to the Chinese that middle class people, everyone has a car because a car is freedom. Because a car means that you can pick up wherever you are at any time and go anywhere.
Drive away.
And we've enmeshed our entire psyche, American psyche, in the concept that every time when you turn 16, you get to have a car. You should have a car. If you don't have a car, you're weird. Why don't you have a car? You don't have a car. You don't have a big, huge operational thing that costs a lot of money when you're 16. You don't. You're a child and you don't have your own mode of transportation to get wherever you want and be completely unsafe or safe or have all of these choices and all these things moving at you so fast, things that higher order thinking. But we just negate it. We're just like, oh yeah, whatever, just driving a car. We have enmeshed our future with this dream, American dream, and a lot of that involves the car. So years ago, I was told by a lot of we'll never have electric cars. We'll never have renewable energy because we need to be consumers of gas. But now we're realizing, like, we fucked up the environment. We can't be consumers. I'm sorry, old people. I'm sorry you sold us this dream. This dream isn't going to work anymore. We need to change the dream. And the old people are like, look at the dream. Why can't you love the dream? Have babies. Make more consumers. We got to have. The reason we don't want abortion is that people who don't have the financial ability or the desire to raise their own children, when you force them to do that, they make little soldiers. And we still need soldiers. But all the new kids are like, we don't need soldiers. We don't want to fight and die for anything.
They want white little soldiers.
They want any soldiers. They want any person. They want people to not have choice and volition over their own bodies so that they don't have to have children and they can live their life the way they want to. They don't want a woman to not have a baby. They want another little consumer to eat Pop-Tarts and fucking cereal and fruit juice instead of fruit, and then to grow up and be angry and learn how to shoot guns on the TV and be
unhealthy,
so
they can be locked into pharmaceuticals.
Either they're a consumer for life of pharmaceuticals, or they're just fodder for our cannons over whatever war we want to start over oil. It's so circular.
It's just so weird to me that you know who created the EPA, right?
Environmental Protection
Agency?
Probably like Reagan or something.
No, close. Richard Nixon.
Oh.
Who was once the worst president, but 45 topped that. Congratulations. And the fact of the matter, like, now you have not just this administration, but the Bush administration also tried to basically rip down the EPA, which is environmental protection. And the fact that these climate change deniers, it's still a thing, which is weird.
Right.
And it's
climate change. Our president's a climate change denier.
Yeah, but he wasn't several years ago.
Right. Because he can flip flop around.
Yeah, he can
flip. It's
all
about the money.
It's all about the money. But here's the funny.
I just want to know what the Green New Deal is.
Yeah.
It's probably not even that crazy.
It's not. It's not really that crazy. It's just the fact that we need to save the planet. First of all, okay, for those people, especially who are climate change deniers, and you want to save your money, how are you going to save your money when there ain't no planet? How are you going to make money? I mean, like, all these deniers, and I'm mostly talking to most, like, the Republican Congress and the Republican senators. How do you expect it's all about greed. But when you have no planet, where's your greed going to go?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me. There's no winners in this situation.
This is a bummer. This is 3 hours ago. Green New Deal fantasy nightmare. Dems show true colors in zero vote. So we won't even vote for things that are helpful because because money is everywhere. The Green New Deal is a proposed stimulus program that aims to address climate change and economic inequality. The name refers to the New Deal, a set of social and economic reforms and public works projects taken under by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in response to the Great Depression. The Great New Deal combines Roosevelt's economic approach with modern ideas such as renewable energy and resource efficiency. Yeah, like all the water, it's been raining, raining, raining. Why aren't we catching this water?
We
Like,
can
are we
totally
not
catch
worried
it.
about
Drought.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. So I want to know what's really what's really going on with the Green New Deal. I want to know the ins and outs and what's going on, but the internet is hiding it from me. It's not letting me find out. Like the Green New Deal. It's part of it's a 4-part program, moving America forward. Now we're getting somewhere. Thank you, Green Party. Finally, give me something. But these other, because in California, we're like, we compost, and the rest of there are people in the United States that don't even recycle,
Or don't know what compost is.
don't even know, compost. And they used to be the farming people. Isn't that funny? Like, the Green New Deal, the summary of the Green New Deal is a 4-part program for moving America quickly out of crisis into a secure, sustainable future. Inspired by the New Deal programs that helped us out of the Great Depressions in the 1930s, the Green New Deal will provide similar relief and create an economy that makes our communities sustainable, healthy, and just. Oh, justice.
Oh, that sounds positive.
The 4 pillars of the Green New Deal. 1, the economic Bill of Rights. Our country cannot truly move forward until the roots of inequality are pulled up and the seed a new, healthier economy are planted. Thus, the Green New Deal begins with an economic Bill of Rights that ensures all citizens. 1, the right to employment through a full employment program that will create 25 million jobs by implementing a nationally funded but locally controlled direct employment initiative, replacing unemployment offices with local employment offices offering public sector jobs which are stored in job banks in order to take up any slack in the private sector employment.
You would think the Republicans would like that part.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
this is what Clinton did. This is interesting. Clinton, I worked for one of these programs in the late 90s. And what he did is that when you had a kid, you no longer got your weekly check, unless you went to my classroom and you had to be there for 6 hours a day, sign in. So it was 30 hours a week they had to sign in with me. And if they didn't sign in their 30 hour, and at the end of every week, I sent it to my higher up, and then they got their checks. And it was like a week back, right? So it was like the week before, blah, blah, blah. And they had to do these hours. But they got free childcare at the same time. So it was like, and it was all to pass their GED, and I was like helping them. So
that's helping to
it was
educate,
great.
Yeah.
So they got paid to go to school basically, and they got free childcare.
That
paid
program
to go to school. It was great for 75% of them. 25% of them were like calling me at the end of the week, like, I got sick, my baby had this, and I was like,
those are the lazy folks.
I was like, you don't get your check then, and it only took 1 or 2 times of them fucking up and me being like, it's not me, it's you guys. I'm sorry. I'm just here to sign I can't lie for you. And they'd be like, lie for me, please. My babies, I need my back. And I'm like, you've got free childcare. You've got me here to help you pass this test. Once you pass the GED,
you're good.
Whoa,
You did it.
You did it. But then there's another program where they have their GED so they can do this kind of job. But they can't. You have to jump through the hoops. But it was a program that was set up by Clinton, and it was fucking awesome. I had a job. They were going to education for their jobs. It worked.
I'm sure that program got cut.
Of course it did. It was gone. Of course. With fucking Bush. Of course. No child left behind, actually leaving children behind.
Yeah, right. Now look at them.
Yeah. So local communities will use a process of broad stakeholder input and democratic decision making to fairly implement these programs. Yeah. So if you have a job creation program, if you're in a community that needs childcare, that you're basically saying, hey, we can build a childcare thing, and then we can give people jobs to run the childcare, and then people can use the childcare, and then it's self-sustaining. Oh my God. Pay-to-play prohibitions will ensure that campaign contributions or lobbying favors do not impact decision-making.
That's what they don't like.
Wow.
Now, that's what both parties don't like.
Right. Well, I say, hell yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
Because what if our community here in San Francisco decides that we want to fund Planned Parenthood, and we're going to have tons of jobs through Planned Parenthood, and we're going to have education programs and outreach programs, and we're going to be going through the schools, and we're going to need to hire all these new teachers for for stuff. And so you got to train the teachers, and you get the teachers' jobs. You get, oh my God, high paying jobs for teachers? No way. Like, skill. Anyway.
See, I think that's what the Democrats and the Republicans don't like, because this is what's holding them back. The fact that there's money in politics.
Right. We will end employment in America once and for all by guaranteeing a job at a living wage for every American willing and able to work. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't see what. Okay.
But
There's
that's
no
the thing
issue.
too. So if we decide here we want to have artists, we could give money to, like, this is a job. I'm sorry, this isn't a well-paying job, but the city could be like, we're gonna give Mutiny Radio some money, so that I could pay an IT person, and I could pay my radio DJs. Like, they could give me money that we could run this place like
They
a
can also
professional.
do on-site training,
All that stuff.
which you do already.
Yes, absolutely. There's so many things. I love this Green New Deal. Of course, I'm a call me pickle liberal, so I'm 100% in. 2, workers' rights, including the right to a living wage, to a safe workplace, to fair trade, and to organize a union at work without fear of firing or reprisal. Hell yes.
I don't see a problem.
I know. I'm like, labor unions. Love you, Local 6. My heart goes out to you, Local 6. Electricians forever. You guys are my buddies. Love ya. They're great. Local 6 is amazing. Actually, but all, like, the teachers union I was a part in, all of that stuff. Like, we should all have the right to be able to not be oppressed by our work.
Well, isn't that one of the universities in SoCal they're on strike, the professors, because they haven't gotten a wage increase. But the thing is, those wages those high wages are going to the coaches or
people
deans.
that make money.
Yeah.
People that get the money and keep the money and ask for the money and get the money, get to keep the money. It sucks. Well, see, it's the same thing. It's all about labor. It's all about labor being equal. If artists were valued the same as teachers, were valued the same as doctors, were valued the same as pharmaceutical salesmen, the world would be a much different place. But once we start demarcating what work is better than other work, or what work is worth more than other work, when we completely devalue work like motherhood or sex work, when we completely devalue that, devaluing women, because it makes me crazy that you guys even say it's the oldest profession that ever has been. Everyone says it. It's the oldest profession, yet it's not a career. Fuck you. Sex work is real. It's sad that we don't give it W-2s. We don't get to tax it. We don't get to give people social services to help clean out their little vag box so it doesn't get all gross and scary. But it's the oldest profession ever, isn't it, guys? It's the oldest profession, yet completely unrecognized labor. Completely unrecognized. Fuck you, dudes. Women should be able to own their life. Not that I'm going to go out and sell the box, for some Jack in the Box. No. But I think that all labor should be valued. And it's crazy to me that I can get paid as a nanny, but you don't get paid as a mom. Yet you can love the child equally.
I'm still baffled, especially with teachers.
Yeah.
It's just like
women's work. Why are we baffled? It's women's work. It's always been, whatever's been demarcated as women's work gets devalued. Even cooking, even people that are working online and work their ass off and they're only making minimum wage, and they're even in fine dining and all that shit. It's women's work is traditionally devalued, and we are part of that. We haven't passed an equal opportunity protection, the ERA, or the Equal Rights Amendment was never passed. It's never been passed. It's 2019 and we don't have an equal pay for equal work. Women are still making 70 cents on the dollar, and we're not doing anything about it. Because we're like, oh well.
And then that bill got shut down. That bill got shut down a couple years ago for women's equal pay.
Yeah,
so I don't know why.
We don't, because women get out and vote, because we could make all of this real.
Some of y'all white women stay home.
The right to, well, don't listen to your husbands. Just vote your conscience. 3, the right to quality health care, which will be achieved through a single payer Medicare for all program. Yay!
That sounds sexy.
Medicare for all. I love my Medicare. I love my Medi-Cal. I love it. It's always been incredibly helpful. Thank you so much. I'm really sorry that that my work is not valued equally in our society. So I have to use these services to keep myself healthy. Great. Thank you. 4, the right to a tuition-free, quality, federally funded, local controlled public education system from preschool through college, We'll also forgive student loan debt from the current era of unaffordable college education.
That would save so many
God
people's life.
bless this woman.
That would save so. I mean,
It would change everything for so many
that's
people if they could remove the yoke of student debt burden from about their shoulders. If they could throw off that debt, it would change so many people's lives.
the economy would get better. You know why? Because this
Absolutely.
is why my generation won't be able to buy homes, won't be able to retire because of if you graduated high school anywhere in the 2000s or even in the late 90s, you are not in the job you're not making the proper money that you're supposed to be making with a college education because all that money is going to your student debt.
That's absolutely true.
And
$500 a month, $1,000 a month for some people.
And
some people can't even. Some people $200 a month. I mean, I can't even imagine if I had student loan debt, what I would do. It can choke you. It can scare you. It can choke you. It can make you be in a job you don't want to be in. It can make you stay in a job that doesn't necessarily match your skills or abilities because you're afraid to make moves because you need to pay off your student loans because it's stressing you out because they're going to chase you fucking
they will
down.
chase
They
you.
will
Yeah.
chase you.
This is why you have so many people in their 20s and 30s that had to have to move back home.
Sure. Yeah.
Because of
A lot
that.
people live in their mom's.
It's not because, oh, we're just a bunch of lazy millennials, blah, blah, blah. No, it's because the fact of the matter is, like, we got fucked. Once
Right.
George W. Bush administration came in, we got fucked.
FAFSA's getting
hard.
cut.
Yes.
And the thing that's crazy is
Grants.
grants and the Pell Grants, all these kinds of things. Even some of them were loans and stuff. And if really $100,000 for college, and some people more. One of my buddies spent
More.
$180,000 on law school, UC Hastings, and it's like $180,000. So when you get out of that, you better go sell yourself out to some corporate
You have to
assholes
suck
and
some dick,
go
serious
be a
corporate
terrible
dick.
corporate lawyer and
Be miserable.
right for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can get your head out of it. But $180,000, I can't even conceptualize. Of course, you're never going to be able to buy a house.
Well, that's why you have all those fucking rich people that were signing. Did you hear about that? The college
Right.
scandal. But their kids are morons anyway.
Kids are morons.
But I mean, the fact
It
that
doesn't like they even needed to go to college, you dumb fucks. You already have money and privilege. You already have people who are connected. What the fuck do you need college for? What do you need that piece of paper for? You need everything. Like
there's someone in that was in that rich child's position that actually wanted to be in that position of going to school. Some of those kids.
I love school.
I like school a lot too. I wish I could afford it.
Forever. It'd be great. Well, we could go to. This is very exciting. CCSF is free if you live here.
Exactly.
And you know they have a culinary program.
Oh,
You can go to culinary school for free
that
at
I didn't know.
CCSF. I mean, not that I have any time, and I already work in a kitchen, but I was thinking, I was like, man, if I decide to like stop doing comedy or something, I could go get my chef degree for free.
That's a blessing.
For free.
But that's a blessing that the majority of people in this country don't have. I mean,
because San Francisco is badass.
sometimes.
Pretty good. The right to decent, affordable housing, including an immediate halt to all foreclosures and evictions. Oh, God bless this woman. Create a federal bank with local branches to take over homes with distressed mortgages and either restructure the
don't like
mortgages
that.
to affordable levels, or if the occupants cannot afford the mortgage, rent homes to the occupants. Expand rental and home ownership assistance. Create ample public housing and offer capital grants to nonprofit developers for affordable housing until all people can obtain decent housing at no more than 25% of their income.
They don't like that. They don't like that.
Oh
There's
my
too
God,
much
that's
money.
so crazy. My rent is seriously 95% of my monthly income. I'm not even joking with the numbers. My rent is 95% of what I bring in every month.
And that 5%
And the
is like
5% is what I spend on food and alcohol, which is obviously not very much, but because I work in a place and I'm a nanny sometimes, like, so I can get food. So don't worry about me. I'm on food stamps and it's okay. I'm not starving. I've got access to food.
but
But it's hard.
that's the part that a lot of the corporate Democrats and Republicans do not like because their banks work for these mortgage firms and what have you.
Right.
They work for these places. I mean, hello,
It's a
the
lot of
crash,
money into it.
the crash of 2008.
Oh yeah, and who got fucked on that? The people.
The
with
people
the houses. The now
who got
no houses.
bonuses.
Yeah, exactly. Who got bonuses? The people who sold those loans
Yeah.
to people who couldn't pay them back.
And on top of that, those people are some of these senators and Congress people's friends. So they're doing favors.
I hate it. Who you know? It's all the money. Follow the money. 6, the right to accessible and affordable utilities, heat, electricity, phone, internet, and public transportation through democratically run, publicly owned utilities that operate at cost, not for profit.
Oh.
Oh, that's so funny.
Don't we do? Is it what? Is it Pacific Gas?
Yeah, PG&E.
PG&E
The
going
monopoly.
under?
Yeah, the monopoly. Can't handle it.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, monopoly. 7, the right to fair taxation that's distributed in proportion to ability to pay. Oh, it's so funny. In addition, corporate tax subsidies will be made transparent by dealing them in public budgets where they can be scrutinized, not hidden as tax breaks.
Oh, they don't like that either. See, the corporate
That's all
Dems
part
and stuff.
1. So this is a 4-pillar thing, and pillar 1 is the Economic Bill of Rights that we just went through, which is basically the right to housing, healthcare,
equal
labor protections, quality
tuition,
healthcare, education.
I don't understand. Okay.
We got basic human rights? No way.
But here's the thing about this is just basic economics 101. When you have people at an equal level playing field who are able to afford things, doesn't that drive the economy up?
They buy things.
You buy things.
For their family, their friends.
Right.
They have more, so they're more generous.
Exactly.
They're not scared of things, so they're not hoarding or hiding. They're not trying to. They're engaging in their community. That's the other thing. Money doesn't have to be bad. We can engage in our community. Like, I would love to be buddies with the hair cutting lady up the street. I can't afford. I mean, I have children cut my hair, and I cut my own hair. I would love to engage in that. I would love. There's going to be a new nail salon on our street too. I would love to put money back into this neighborhood. I would love.
It's a small business too.
It's small businesses.
Yeah.
I would love to go out to dinner once more a month and at a place like Asiento on the corner.
Right.
I would love once a week to. I mean, I think I do get food across the street once a week, and because Tanya Terrace is really lovely and special. But if I had more expendable income, I would be more engaged financially in my community, which would only help my community, which would make my community better.
That drives the market up. That drives the. I mean, everybody wins.
Everybody's happy. If everybody could work and do what they wanted for a fair wage, then everybody would be happy going to work. They wouldn't be like, oh, I hate my job.
I think there wouldn't be as much of a mental illness.
Maybe, or alcoholism, or turning to
opioids.
This is part 2, a green transition. The second priority of the new Green New Deal, is the Green Transition Program that will convert the old gray economy into a new sustainable economy.
Do we have any weed?
I might. That is, I have a weed food that's really strong. Oh. A new sustainable economy that is environmentally sound, economically viable, and socially responsible. We will, 1, invest in green businesses by providing grants and low-interest loans to grow green businesses and cooperatives with an emphasis on small, locally based companies that keep the wealth created by local labor circulating the community rather than being drained off to enrich absentee investors. Oh, it's like what we were just talking about. 2,
they don't like that.
Prioritize green research by redirecting research funds from fossil fuels and other dead-end industries toward research in wind, solar, and geothermal. We will invest in research in sustainable, non-toxic materials, closed-loop cycles that eliminate waste and pollution, as well as organic agriculture, permaculture, and sustainable forestry. Best.
You know who doesn't like that? Both parties.
Everybody, but you know what? One of the best closed-loop sustainable cycles is when you do aquaponics and you have the fish eat the plants grow above the fish, and then the fish eat the stuff from the plants, and then the fish poop, and then the poop goes to the plants, and the plants grow, and then the fish get better, and the plants grow, and everybody's happy. And it can be indoors, and you don't waste any water because it's a self-cleaning system, because the plants filter the water.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty exciting. But there should be more research in that. They do a lot of that at Davis. They've been working with that. 3, provide green jobs by enacting the full employment program, which will directly provide 16 million jobs in sustainable energy and energy-efficient retrofitting, mass transit, and complete streets that promote safe biking and pedestrian traffic, regional food systems based on sustainable organic agriculture, and clean manufacturing. This all sounds great to me.
This sounds like a utopia.
This sounds like, 3, real financial reform by taking over our economy by takeover of our economy by big banks and well-connected financiers has destabilized both our democracy and our economy. It's time to take Wall Street out of the driver's seat and to free the truly productive segments of working America to make this economy work for all of us. Real financial reform will 1.
That is the one.
They
I think
don't
that's
want
the
this.
that's the
This
big
is,
one.
They're like, whoa, don't make money,
That's
gotta make money, big money, big money,
big
money.
banks. They're too big to fail.
Relieve the debt overhang holding back the economy by reducing homeowner and student debt burdens.
Oh, they don't like that one either.
2, democratize monetary policy to bring about public control of money supply and credit creation. This means we'll nationalize the private bank-dominated Federal Reserve banks and place them under a monetary authority within the Treasury Department.
They don't like that one
like
either.
3, break up the oversized banks that are too big to fail.
That's
That's so funny you just said that. 4, end taxpayer-funded bailouts for banks, insurers, and other financial companies. We'll use the FDIC resolution process for failed banks to reopen them as public banks where possible after failed loans and underlying assets are auctioned off. 5, regulate all financial derivatives and require them to be traded on open exchanges. 6, restore the Glass-Steagall separation of depository commercial banks from speculative investment banks.
God.
7,
They don't like this section at all.
they don't like this at all. 7, establish a 90% tax on bonuses for bailed out bankers.
Yes.
8, support the formation of federal, state, and municipal public-owned banks that function as nonprofit utilities. Under the Green New Deal, we will start building a financial system that is open, honest, stable, and serves the real economy rather than the phony economy of high finance.
I think that
Exactly.
section 3 is what
Yeah.
both parties do not like.
They're like, fuck
Because
that.
this is where they get their money from. This is who they're campaigning for. The big banks, like I said, the too big to fail from 2008. The banks that the American people bailed out, but no one bailed us out.
Yeah, no one bailed us out.
And we're still
People
going
with the
through.
housing crisis.
We're still going through the housing crisis a decade later.
Look at places like Detroit where houses are foreclosed on, no one could pay for them, and now they're just knocking them down.
They're just
knocking
or
down structures
crumbling.
because and people are crazy arson, but they can't afford the fire department, and so they just knock these buildings down. And it's like, why do we destroy things to rebuild? Why not rebuild what's already there? Why not? I mean, I guess people don't want to live in Detroit now because there's no industry there or no jobs. But
people are trying to build back up Detroit up, but it's even worse for Latino and Black families now because we're the ones that actually got really devastated by the housing market. I believe the before 2008, African American homeowners were at least I believe like 52%. Now we're down to like 30 something percent after the housing crash. Like it really fucked with the Black community.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying it didn't just us, but communities.
Yeah.
The Black community is not at a equal playing field.
Right. It's like, so when people say, oh well, everything's equal now, and it's not, because it's like
we got to catch up 1,200 years.
Right. So if you have people that have been shackled, literally. And figuratively, and literally, and then you go, oh, everything's equal now. Okay, but it's not. We didn't all start at the starting line together. We've been running without shackles for years. And then suddenly you're like, oh, you have no shackles. It's like, wait. We're still carrying the weight. We're not starting at equal places.
No, there's no equal playing field. So that's why the housing crisis is very, very important. And I don't understand. I mean, yeah, I do understand why they don't like it, because there's greed involved. There's big banks.
So much greed.
There's Wall Street involved.
Greedy people?
Do you remember like Fannie Mae? And, are they still around? I don't think they are they? Yeah.
Fannie Mae was great because they actually helped me out. They were doing 0 down loans for teachers.
They did.
That was really helpful. That's how I got my first house.
They did things for school too.
Yeah.
Well, you were out.
A teacher.
You didn't have a home, you had a home, but
yeah,
you were a homeowner there.
Right, I wasn't a homeowner anymore. I left
in 2008, right?
I left my husband in 2007. Yes.
Oh, ooh.
A functioning democracy. This is the 4th part. We won't get these vital reforms without a 4th and final set of reforms to give us a real functioning democracy. Just as we are replacing the old economy with a new one, we will need new politics to restore the promise of American democracy. The new Green Deal will, 1, revoke corporate personhood
Yes.
by amending our Constitution
Not using
to
money as
make
speech.
clear that corporations are not persons and money is not speech.
Yes.
Those rights belong to living, breathing human beings, not businesses, business entities controlled by the wealthy.
Amen.
I like this.
Amen.
2, protect our right to vote by supporting Representative Jesse Jackson Jr.'s proposed right to vote amendment to clarify to the Supreme Court that yes, we do have a constitutional right to vote. 3, enact the Voter Bill of Rights that will guarantee us a voter-marked paper ballot for all voting, require that all votes are counted before election results are released, replace partisan oversight of elections with nonpartisan election commissions.
The 4th one I really like.
Celebrate our democratic aspirations by making Election Day a national holiday.
That way everyone can vote.
Everyone.
Everybody.
You don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. You don't have to rush out of work late. You don't have to worry about the kids, it's just day off.
It's a day off.
Bring simplified same-day voter registration to the nation so that no qualified voter is barred from the polls. Do away with so-called winner-take-all elections in which the winner does not have the support of most of the voters, and replace that system with an instant runoff voting and proportional representation systems most advanced countries use now to good effect. Replace big money controls of election campaigns with full public financing and free and equal access to the airwaves.
They don't like that.
No, I've always found it funny that
they don't like that.
That you have to have money to win elections, and that you have to spend money in the paper industry, and you have to give money to the post office. And there's all of these things. The way that you win, you can't win an election without money. There's no more like grassroots sort of backing the person who's really best for the job, because
it's all about super PACs.
Yeah. Why would you even want to be a politician at this point? I think that
I agree.
This stuff is like trying to change, and I love that. But if you aren't part of the change and you're trying to keep the stick in the mud of American corporatism, fuck you. Like, how are they getting voted in? Like, how are we voting those people in if they don't have our interest? Because we're supposed to have a representative democracy. That's what our country is based off of. And yet our government isn't representing us. Our government is representing big business corporations and the money.
Or the 1%.
And the 1% in banks. And when do we take it back? This is us taking it back.
Yeah.
But there's too many kickbacks. There's too many kickbacks to all the people that are already in politics. And so they're like, I'm not going to change the midstream. Well, I'm worried about my voter. I have money in the back. Well, your voter base is actually us down here. We're the 99%. And we're not going to be under your chains of student debt that promise us this future with money and stuff if we finish college. I have 3 advanced degrees and I make less than $20,000 a year. Your dream is for shit. It is meaningless. Education doesn't equal wealth. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's a lie.
It's all a lie. And we're taught this lie. Oh, but if you go to that school and you pay $180,000, if you go to Academy of Thought and you pay $30,000 a semester, $90,000 a year, and you come out with a 4-year education and you're $400,000 in debt, and you have a graphic design degree, what the fuck? You will never pay those student loans back.
You're gonna be dead paying them back.
Yeah.
So that loan's gonna get transferred to your relatives or your children, your offspring, somehow, some way, and you're gonna be handcuffed. You're handcuffed. You are a slave to that debt.
You're a slave to the debt.
You're that. Yes.
Because we believe in the money, little pieces of paper that float through our hands. When the real wealth is in labor, is in what we do, which is how we interact with each other, how we feed ourselves, how we make our food, how we put stuff on our body. Like there's staying alive. I'm sorry.
The thing is, it's. I don't think this is Marxist. I think to me this is just.
It's a little bit of socialism.
I think
a little bit of socialism. I love it. I'm all down.
But the thing is,
I'm leaning in with
but there's socialism mixed with a little bit of capitalism. It's mostly so because honestly,
we have to spend money.
How's Norway and Sweden doing? How are they doing?
I think they are happy people. I think they have some of the happiest rates of happiness.
Yeah.
In the world.
They have the same form of government.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Representative.
Yeah. I don't hear them killing themselves over opioids.
And if they were, they'd have good mental health programs
or actually their drugs are legal. Right. That's why.
Yeah. Guarantee equal access to the ballot and the debates to all qualified candidates. Abolish the Electoral College.
Yes.
And implement direct election of the president. Amen.
Yes.
I've been bitching
But
about
they
the
don't.
electoral college for
But the
years.
Republicans don't like that one either, because that's how they win.
Restore the vote to ex-offenders who've paid their debt to society.
Okay.
Felons voting, I love it.
We're gonna
I
go.
love it.
Okay, we're gonna go to a story when we're done with this
I love felons
about Florida.
Oh,
What's
okay.
going on with Florida?
They don't want the felons to vote.
Yeah, because it passed. The people voted for it. 67% of the people in Florida back in November voted for the ex-felons to vote. The Republican, the Florida Republicans are trying to put a poll tax on those. We'll get into that story when she's done with this.
Pay to vote.
It's a poll tax. So yeah,
it's like
it's
one of the whole reasons our country was founded was against those kinds of things. No taxation without representation.
Mm-hmm.
Enact statehood for the District of Columbia so that those Americans have representation in Congress and full rights to self-rule like the rest of us.
Agree.
4. Protect local democracy and democratic rights by commissioning a thorough review of federal preemption law and its impact on the practice of local democracy in the United States. This review will put at its center the democracy question, that is, what level of government is most open to democratic participation and most suited to protecting democratic rights. Don't worry, hang with us, we're almost done. 5, create a corporation for economic democracy, a new federal corporation, like a corporation for public broadcasting, to provide publicity, training, education, and direct financing to cooperative developments for democratic reforms, to make government agencies, private associations, and business enterprises more participatory. Strengthen media democracy by expanding federal support for locally owned broadcast media and local print media.
PBS.
Mutiny Radio. Protect our personal liberty and freedoms by repealing the Patriot Act and all those parts of the National Defense Authorization Act that violate our civil liberties. Who are these people? Are great. I love these people. Oh my God, the Patriot Act is like
garbage.
The Patriot Act is what's going to bring the United States to civil war. That's how they're going to enact against us when we push for this really hard, and our government goes, no. That's when the Patriot Act, they're like, shut it down, all you motherfuckers. We own you with the Patriot Act. You're all criminals in your own country. Prohibiting the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI from conspiring with local police forces to suppress our freedoms of assembly and of speech. And ending the war on immigrants, including the cruel so-called Secure Communities program. Or jail. Rein in the military-industrial complex by reducing military spending by 50% and closing U.S. military bases around the world.
But they don't like that.
Of course they don't.
They don't like that.
Restoring the National Guard as the centerpiece of our system of national defense, and create a new round of nuclear disarmament initiatives.
I'm sketchy on that one.
Well, I think that we should abolish. I think
all nuclear weapons should
go away. Yeah.
But I'm sorry, there's still North Korea.
Well, here's the thing, though.
And it's not just North Korea.
178,000 people were vaporized in 2 days in Japan. Those were all real people. And then there were such catastrophic illnesses after, and still cancer to this day. And then we irreparably changed our global the ecosystem. Like, we shouldn't have these weapons. They will destroy the planet. They will destroy us. We shouldn't have them.
I agree.
I don't think we should ever have to use them. The guy, I watched this crazy documentary about this guy who survived both
Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yes, both of them. Because he was there, he lived in Nagasaki, he was visiting Hiroshima, the bomb went off, he survived. He got back to Nagasaki, and then he was bombed again and he survived. But then he died in his 90s of cancer. So anyway, and his whole life became telling people about it so that we'd never do that again to people. And he talks to he's dead now, but he talked to American children about what it was like and what we really did to them and what that means. It's so scary.
It is scary, nuclear war.
Let us not rest until we have pulled our nation back from the brink, until we have secured the peaceful, just, green, free future we all deserve.
And by the way, they're calling this radical. No, to me, it's just decent living.
Yeah.
It's just how,
Well, we're Americans.
I
Aspire to
mean,
be better.
no, we're human beings.
We're human beings, but
You know,
we've always talked about we're Americans. We aspire to be better. So let's aspire to be better. If we want to like be jingoistic and nationalistic, let's fucking do it. But let's do it in the right way. Let's get together and take care of all of us, and not just continue taking care of the rich people. Why are they so much better than us? Well, because they have money.
they have, yeah.
Because they have the money. So money makes you a better person.
But
That's not true.
But here's the thing: you ain't gonna have that money if there ain't no planet.
Right. That's true too. That's true.
We have to talk about this Florida story since it was talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
It mentioned that in the Green New Deal, which is this story really angers me because, it's basically back in November, Floridians did vote for ex-felons to be able to get the right to vote again. Well, knowing that Florida is the dick of Florida, we're talking about Florida again,
Yeah,
the dick of the United States.
Exactly. Florida restored felons' voting rights. Now GOP is clamping down. This is a day ago from the Mercury News. Look at this. We got our finger on the pulse, baby.
I know. I'm glad we read that whole new Green Deal.
Yeah, I am too. That's
Yeah,
like,
it was
I wanted to know.
It's like political porn for me.
People keep talking about it and what it is and what it means, and I'm like, fuck yeah, it's important. This is everything I believe in is in this document. I'm like, this is an America I can
This is having, this is basically on its way to having a decent living, a decent life. This helps build the economy back. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, getting away with student debt, really? Having everyone have an equal playing field is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still looking for this crazy story. It takes forever to. What's wrong with our computer? That was the Green New Deal. Florida restored felons voting.
Let's see.
Here we go. Florida restored felons voting rights. Now GOP is clamping down.
DeSantis, racist piece
Governor
of shit.
Ron DeSantis said the amendments require implementing legislation. This is from the Washington Post. When an overwhelming majority of Floridians voted in November to restore voting rights, as many as 1.4 million felons, liberals and conservatives alike celebrated the largest expansion of voting eligibility in the country since the elimination of poll taxes and literacy tests in the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
The bipartisan cheering waned this month when the Republican state lawmakers proposed limiting the scope of what's known as in Florida as Amendment 4. And Democrats lashed out with accusations over voter suppression. Republicans said they only want to guide implementation of such a sparsely worded amendment and are committed to following the intent of the voters who approved it. Their critics say the GOP is trying to go far beyond that. Although the legislation is not final, the episode has revealed how complicated and increasingly polarized the issues of voting law has become and how likely it is to remain that way through the 2020 election. I want us to send an unapologetic message to the legislature, and that is to get their hands off Amendment 4. Democrat Andrew Gillum, who lost the governor's race in Florida last year, has launched a voter regeneration drive ahead of 2020, told a cheering Florida crowd in the Miami Gardens this month. It is the law of the land. It is enshrined in the Florida's Constitution. Proponents have championed Amendment 4 as civil rights issue akin to sentencing reform, good for reducing recidivism rates, and necessary to lift the disproportionate impact of Florida's voting restrictions on African Americans. The proposed legislation to limit the amendment has given Democrats an additional rallying cry. The Republicans are trying to dilute the electoral power that they come from measure. The episode has attracted fiery rhetoric from national figures, including Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who in a tweet last week likened Republican actions to a poll tax. Amendment 4 restores the voting rights of felons upon completion of all their terms of sentence, including parole and probation. It excludes those convicted of murder or felony sexual offenses. The amendment took effect on January 8th, and although it's not possible to track voter registration among felons, a spike in registration followed. But Republicans, including Governor Ron DeSantis, said the amendment required implementation legislation. In particular, GOP leaders said 3 terms in the amendment, completion, murder, and sexual offense, needed to be defined for clarity, so the state's 67 county election supervisors could administer the measure uniformly. I wholeheartedly believe voting rights should be restored, said Byron Donalds, a Republican state representative from Naples, who said he voted for the amendment 4 in November. But we have to define it. It was crystal clear that no one knew exactly, or actually, to tell an offender when they have completed their sentence. Republicans came up with prompted an uproar. One GOP proposal broadly defined sexual offense to include, in addition to violent crimes, video voyeurism, lewd exhibition, prostitution, and locating an adult entertainment store within 2,500 feet of a school. These little fuckbags. Yeah, of course, prostitution. Like, of
Here we
course,
go
if
again.
you want to just keep subjugating women, just keep devaluing their work. Amendment 4, their minds and their work and all their choices and all that stuff. Amendment 4 advocates said the list should have been limited to those crimes that qualify criminal for the state's sex offender registry. But James Grant, a Republican state representative from Tampa, who wrote one of the legislative proposals, said that's not what Amendment 4 said. Felony sex offense means absolutely nothing in a legal context, Grant said. He said likening his effort to a poll tax was the kind of partisan tribal crap that's crippling the country. It is common in Florida, he said, to draft clarifying legislation after constitutional amendments are approved. Lawmakers define sentence completion to include prison time, probation, paroles, fine, fees, and restitution declared by a judge to be part of the sentence. More troubling for Amendment 4 advocates, though, was the inclusion of costs that have been covered by a judge to civil liens to allow poor defendants more time to pay. Under those rules, it could take years for an individual who has otherwise completed their sentence to be eligible to vote. Comes down to money again.
Yep.
What it does is create an additional sentence, which I don't think the voters intended to do. Shelley Freeland Eddy, a criminal defense attorney and city commissioner from Sarasota, told Florida senators in a public hearing Monday. One woman at the hearing, Coral Nichols from Seminole, served 5 years for grand theft and fraud and said she is close to completing 10 years of probation. She was also ordered to pay $190,000 in restitution.
Jesus.
But the amount was converted to a civil lien long ago, and she pays according to her ability every month, she says.
God.
Nichols said she might never be eligible to vote under the Senate proposal. I'm a law-abiding citizen, she said. So this goes on and on and on and on. And I understand what you're saying, that it's that they said, okay, people can vote now, and they're like, no. How about only some of you can vote?
Right.
How about not the women? Oh, I mean, it's like they keep changing it, right?
But they know the fact of the matter that these former inmates do not have the money to afford to pay $194,000.
Yeah, $190,000. That's crazy.
And she's the thing is, like, if you have that felon on your next to you when you apply for a job,
it's so...
you're not guaranteed to get $100,000 a year job.
No, of course not.
And,
who could do that?
I mean,
unless you go Cardi B and you drug and then rob people. You could, maybe. I don't know how much.
And get caught and put yourself on IG and blast yourself and snitch on yourself. Stupid. You stupid. Oh, there was something I read up here earlier that mentioned that Barbara Bush, Trump caused Barbara Bush's heart attack.
What?
Yeah. I saw it on the, it was like on the side here. Oh, well. It'll probably...
I like this one. First I got pregnant, then I started looking for love. That sounds like a fun thing. Right?
No.
No. Latest news, Arnold Schwarzenegger's ridiculously patriotic boots. Sure, something. Is that news?
Oh, God. Oh, Theresa May might be resigning after the Brexit. That's good. Fucking hate that fucking cunt.
Which one?
Theresa May.
Theresa May. Yeah, that whole Brexit thing is crazy. I learned about Brexit through English cheeses. It was
actually,
really weird.
That's actually really on point, actually.
Because the cheeses used to be run by the people in the monastery in the 1200s, but then when King Henry VIII made the break from the Catholic Church and had the merry old Church of England, then the farm wives took over the making of cheese, and then after that they moved to these really big cheesery things. But then, anyways, it's going back.
No, I'm interested because it's part of what Brexit is.
Yeah, Brexit is. I mean, I don't know.
It's going to hurt the economy. Point blank. Period.
The EU. It's like It's like, are you too good for the EU? Is that what you're saying? Like,
No,
what are you?
basically what Brexit originally was about was not it has mostly to do with immigration.
Oh,
There are some very racial undertones to what Brexit is about. Nigel Farage, who's a piece of shit, who ran away and is now
Nigel
a
Farage
yeah,
likens Brexit
yes,
to deal with Treaty of Versailles that drove Hitler's rise to power.
there we go.
Oof. As we descend further into us versus them territory over Brexit, we need to talk about working class.
Yeah. So you see those undertones, right?
Yeah, conservative MP condemned for repeating far-right anti-Semitic conspiracy about cultural. I have no idea. Frenzy of hatred. How to understand Brexit racism.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because they did not want they're kind of going through the same thing that's going on here in America, but America's so much larger.
Oh,
With the whole immigration, what have you, because a lot of Syrian refugees are escaping what was their civil war
yeah.
and what have you, and they're going to the United Kingdom, and you got people like the Nigel Farage, who are these white supremacists who want to keep England white.
Yeah, this is Racism, Crisis, Brexit, Ethnic and Racial Studies, Volume 41, Number 10. Brexit, Racism and the Erasure of History. Significantly, this message of regaining democratic control over the affairs of a nation was entwined with a second argument that pointed to the economic and political returns that would arise from detaching Britain from a trading bloc that was in economic decline. But it's about racism.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So now, I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, the whole Brexit basically is going to hurt everybody, no matter what nationality or what race you are. I hate that piece of shit.
Nigel Farage
I hate him.
has likened Theresa May's Brexit withdrawal agreement to the Treaty of Versailles after the First World War, claiming it represents a betrayal. The former UKIP leader claimed the financial settlement was similar to the reparations imposed in Germany, and the inclusion of Northern Ireland into an EU customs area was like the annexation of Alsace-Lorraine. The post-World War I treaty was key in Adolf Hitler's rise to power and was central to the right-wing stab-in-the-back myth that Germany was sold out by its civilian leaders. We're witnessing the slow-motion betrayal, perhaps the greatest betrayal of any democratic vote in the history of our nation. The reason, of course, is this withdrawal treaty, Mr. Farage said in a speech in the European Parliament. I'll go back to the First World War. We won the war, but we had the Treaty of Versailles. We have a reparations bill of $39 billion we have to pay, but nothing in return. We have annexation as a part of our national territory in the shape of Northern Ireland. This treaty is a bad peace. It is unacceptable. It is not Brexit, and it will not pass. It shall not pass. In fact, the financial settlement, or so-called divorce bill, represents commitments already made by the UK government to fund projects and pension of its own civil servants. Under the final withdrawal agreement plan, Northern Ireland would be the same customs union as the UK, but would have to follow some single market rules.
This is when it gets tricky.
Eurosceptic politician was publicly mocked on Wednesday morning by European Parliament Brexit chief Guy Verhofstadt over his failed Brexit protest march, which he abandoned despite grand plans to walk across the UK. Mr. Farage is here. This is a surprise to me because I thought he was marching somewhere in Britain, a 200-mile march. But is he here? How many miles have you done? 2 miles, something like that? The Belgian MEP said. You remind me more and more, I don't know if you know him, of Field Marshal Haig in Blackadder. You know, sitting in the First World War in his office in London, and you're sitting here in Strasbourg while your own people are marching through the rain and cold. That's your way of taking responsibility. Mr. Farage quit UKIP in December amid party meltdown over its links with far-right figure Tommy Robinson. His new Brexit party is polling around about 5% and has also been rocked by a series of racism scandals, including the resignation of its leader, who shared messages that referred to white genocide. Jesus Christ, what is going on in the world?
Yep. They're scared. But
We
what?
want to give Northern Ireland to the EU.
Yeah, and that's okay. So
That's weird,
that's
right?
and that's going to be really you recall what the troubles are, right? What was going on like in the 80s and the
Yeah, with
90s.
the U2 sang all those songs, right?
Yes.
There was
Yes.
a bunch of U2 songs, I think.
Yeah.
People died, there were
Yes.
bombs being thrown, people didn't like each other.
And
All the
yeah,
white people didn't like each other. It was weird.
so this is
Similar accents, not the same. Definitely different white people. The English people are not the Irish people. They're different people.
No,
They're the same people, but they're different
Ireland
people.
never got to colonize. Yes, you're right.
They're just white. Are we just white people? Are we the same white people? We're different white people, right?
No, they're poorer white people.
Poorer white people.
But what I was reading about recently was like a lot of people, and I believe the Republic of Ireland, I believe that's, correct me if I'm wrong, the border is going to get all effed up.
Oh boy.
The border is going to get all messed up because one side's going to be the EU, and then
but it's still all the UK.
No,
it's not going to be the UK anymore.
No, one part of Ireland is not the UK.
Ireland is itself now. Ireland is not part of
it. It's actually kind of divided.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the Republic of Ireland, and then there's Northern Ireland. I think I got that right.
Which is crazy because
that was during the Troubles.
Right.
Yeah, with all the bombings with the Catholics and the Protestants.
Right. Because and they're same funny, same God, same God, same color. Why are we fighting each other, please?
But it's going to strike up more animosity with that on top of the other races. Brexit is racist. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Open democracy.
Yeah, it is. Brexit is racist. We are facing the biggest, most overarching racist attack on immigration in generations. There's a void in politics. We must fight to win.
Yeah. So, and then on top of that, with the Brexit, they've been trying to send people who people who are from Jamaica and Trinidad who immigrated over to the UK back in the 60s and what have you. They're trying to find a way to send some of those people back and what have you that helped build England after the war, after World War II. Because mind you, England was decimated.
Yeah.
After World War II.
Bombings.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Destroyed. Stop Brexit, stop Trump. We are facing the biggest, most overarching racist attack on immigrations in generation. Here it is embodied in breakfast. Sorry, you guys. Brexit, which has proposed Theresa May to power. In the US, it is embodied in Trump's election. Across Europe, it is embodied by electoral successes of fascist parties and militarization of borders against people.
Mm-hmm.
It is up to a new movement and a new generation to organize with the conscious program needed to fight back and win, speaking the plain truth about racism, standing for real equality and dignity in all our communities, including the right to be here, to live, to work and study here for every one of us. That is why MFJ exists. We have a program. MFJ is, MFJ. We have a program. We speak the truth about racism, sexism, bigotry, and we fight to win. Nothing is settled. And in any case, destroying the rights of minorities is not democracy. It has to be fought. There isn't a choice on that. Theresa May led the British government's hostile environment policy that forced migrants into destitution, turned working class job into a criminal offense, set immigrants up to fail, tore apart legal aid, legitimized the bullying and harassment of children and students for being Muslim, threw thousands of international students out of the country, and imprisoned hundreds of thousands of asylum seekers and other immigrants' backgrounds into secretive, indefinite detention. Brexit is the outcome of a decrepit, unrelenting racist scapegoating of immigrants by politicians right here over decades. Brexit gave Trump inspiration and confidence. We must not use opposing Trump as an excuse for not opposing Brexit. We must be as bold about fighting racism here. That is how we do solidarity. Brexit is racist. Brexit helped Trump. May depends on Trump for a Brexit deal. Mm-hmm. Brexit is not democratic. It was a referendum called by demagogues designed to destroy the rights and freedoms of millions of minorities, poor and oppressed people in this country. It not only attacks EU migrants, it is an assault on all migrant communities.
That would be the Polish.
Destroying the rights of minorities is not democratic. It is tyranny. No business as usual. We have to march to shut down London. Come with us. Join MFJ. All right. There we go.
Can't run away from it.
Can't run away. Can't hide it. Can't hide from it. Well.
Oh, and also
open racism.
She's also trying to find a way to kind to cut off funding for their health care, which it's free.
Good.
Yeah, but no, she's trying to cut.
Oh, that's terrible. Why would you want to take away something that people already have, like awesome health care?
Well,
how does that help the people?
Well, actually, to yesterday and today, Trump is trying to find a way to take away from the ACA.
Oof. Trump says it's time for the U.S. to recognize Israel's annexation of Golan Heights. Oh, now he's weighing in. He's weighing in on Israel.
Oh, God.
Great. We always do that, though. Trump and Brexit are symptoms of the same failure to reckon with racism. And the U.S. and U.K. remain in denial about race, immigration, and their place in the world. I mean, it was like we're ending on racism. That's great. But I thought, that's the thing is, when did they sell us the lie that it was over, and when did we believe it? And how are we still believing that racism is over? Like, we're still believing that it's like racism's right in our face.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
2008.
Oh, the black president thing.
Which.
That's when we all went, oh, we're not racist anymore. Look at us.
I'm not part of that wave.
Racism's dead.
I'm not part of
it. We did it. Everybody high five. We high five. Yay.
And then the next year after 2008, what happens? The Tea Party.
Oh, my God.
Which is nothing but hideous, racist hillbillies. And then all this buildup was because of, I'm not blaming Obama for it, but it's a backlash toward him being the first black man. President, yeah.
And it's it's just so funny how incredibly qualified he was for the job, and really what a great, he did a lot of really great things. I love that he commuted all the sentences. He was staying up like the last 24 hours. He didn't sleep at all. He signed, until he was out of office, he signed as many of these executive orders as he could to commute the sentences. And he commuted drug sentences of like 1,800 people at the last minute. And it's just so great because like he actually cares about the lives.
I do. I think my thing is this. I think he could have did more on his last term, especially with the police and what have you. And I have some things to pick with Obama, but there's no perfect president.
Yeah, you can't.
I can't. I do appreciate the fact of what he did, but I do think he could have did more on his second term, especially with the police and especially with criminal justice, in which Eric Holder was, but that got unraveled when Jeff Sessions came in. So
I put in the thing just because I feel like Obama really did care about the lives of everyday Americans, and I feel like he made himself.
He worked hard for his.
He worked hard for the backing of the people. I think he knew the people. I think he understood what the people needed.
Because he was once the people.
Because he was once the people. And so I put in, does Trump care about Americans? And what came out was Trump care plans for 2019. Tremendous coverage guarantee. It's just healthcare plans is what came out.
He's trying to overturn those.
Trump needs a 2020 healthcare bill and fast. Trump says he supports DOJ's Obamacare lawsuit. I love Obamacare. Trump doesn't care about America, Earth, anyone but himself.
That's
kind
true.
of the stuff I was looking for. Well, and I wanted to close on this. This is the next one. Trump, what he did to taxes. So we'll close on this. I'm really hoping that he doesn't get reelected in 2020 because of what he did to the 2018 tax laws and how he fucked all the working class in the Midwest and everywhere else. So a lot of people this year aren't getting tax returns.
No.
Because working class people who work their asses off, and things got changed because now
that tax cut,
a lot of their things that they could
write
off are not write-offable anymore.
Nope.
So their clothes, their
some of his supporters, a lot of his supporters, a lot of the
core supporters, the iron workers in fucking Missouri, Our buddy old Dunface Steve Poggi.
It's not a tax
Not a tax write-off for
anymore.
all those, because he just started his ironworker school and all that stuff, and he had to buy all of these tools, and he had to buy all these outfits, and he had to buy special boots. And the boots are like $250 boots, but you have to have the boots, because otherwise you could drop a 150-pound steel thing on your toe, and now what are you gonna do? So
yeah,
all of that was once tax deductible, fuck you, middle America. So that's what your president, that's who you elected, that's what he did for you.
It's not just middle America, it's everybody.
It's the working people who work. People who like are working labor.
I'm afraid to do my taxes.
Oh, I'm gonna be okay this year. I did it right. I figured it out.
I'm probably gonna owe.
That sucks.
All right, I'm doing mine the last minute.
If we owed last year, Mutiny Radio owed for 2017. But because I had no idea what I was doing. But this year, I did it. I did it right.
You're one of the lucky ones.
Right, because I learned from my mistakes in 2017. I got your number, America. I got you. All right. Hey, everybody, do your taxes. It's coming about, and we'll see if you get anything back this year. I hope you do.
I hope so too. I don't want to pay nobody shit.
I'm really glad we went through the Green New Deal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that up, attach it to this podcast so you guys can read it too, or you can just listen to it. We did a pretty good job of reading it. And join the Green Party, I guess, or vote your conscience. Everybody
It's not the Green Party.
Well, the Green Party. It's the Green Party, I guess, is who wrote it.
No, it's actually the Democrats.
Oh,
but it was Ocasio-Cortez.
But
it's yeah.
And it's the Green New Deal, and we love it.
It's not the corporate Democrats.
No, they're terrible people.
That's right.
All right, we'll see you guys next week here on the Alta-cast. Stay tuned for some Call Me Tim. We just talked about how the world's falling apart. We'll talk about how to put it back together.
With super glue.
Yeah, and hey, donate to Mutiny Radio. Go look at that donate button on the side of our website and give us some money, because we're trying to keep free speech alive. Don't let them take
Push it real good.
any of the amendments away from us. I know you like your guns, but I like my free speech, all right?
And I like my weed.
Yeah, please don't take our weed away.
Please.
It's the Green New Deal, baby. It's green. I like it. All right, buddy. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, just double click on that new breaker if you would. Yay! Bye, people. If you want to eat some of this, you can. It's